This is Tom with Culture Chat. So today I am taping this for the second time because one shouldn't make mistakes and just set it out into the world in a video thinking, meh, whatever, who's going to find out? What I'm doing now is I'm recommending a list that I didn't write about 10 Christmas plays. So I was in a workshop and I've been sending this list out for a little while, and someone said, well, why isn't that list on your channel? I'm like, oh, I guess it should be. And something else happened, and they said you can just take credit for it. I'm like, well, I didn't write it. So yes, this actor was in the workshop, and I don't approve of stealing other people's ideas and passing them off as your own. So in the end, that actor in the workshop did not get the part for many reasons. But yeah, taking credit for others' work, don't like that, and you shouldn't either. I used to have a lot of videos scolding people for some of their theater practices, and I'm not doing that much anymore, but there's a little thing in there for like that you're in a collaborative art. So give others credit. So I'm going to run the list past you, and you're going to read it because you're very clever and very smart. And the mistake I made before was getting the plots confused of two of these things I'm recommending. So this is not a video where I've researched every single play to death, and I'm going to talk about the plot lines of each. I will, however, talk about the one recommendation, which is Little Women, which I've directed myself. Now, for Christmas, I prefer the musical. I think it's really well done. It's going to cost you a little more to have musicians on stage, so if budget is a problem for you, then do the play. The best thing about this play is that there are different versions of it. And if you direct this piece, program this piece, if you're the producer, the artistic director, there will be people sending you letters saying, why didn't you include this? Because it's from a 600-page novel. And you can't include everything that was in the novel in a 2-hour play, 90-minute musical. So that will happen. But it just sells and sells. A lot of people look at me and say, it's just going to get the women to come because it's the girls' play. Not necessarily. The way I directed mine, I thought, what is appealing to everyone? Comedy. And not that this is a very comedic piece, but family fun, sisters not being saccharine and fake with each other in a Hallmark kind of movie, but having some strife and, hey, you sing this and you sing that and you play with this, you play with that, that's my doll. That's all very funny. The Aunt March character is often seen as just a scold, which makes her one dimension. I don't think that's very good for a play or a musical. I think a lot of characters that are angry, it's better if they're frustrated. It's better if some of those insane demands they make are seen as funny. So give her some scenery to chew on. She's a funny character. Even the mother, with her exasperation of raising these 4 girls alone, has some humor in it. And then you have balancing it with the pathos and the tragedy of the sister's death. It makes for a very well-rounded piece, whether it's the musical or the play or your own adaptation, which that would be a lot of work. But you can do it if you want to. The other things on this list that I really liked that I recommended to people, because I found that there were a number of theaters that were losing the licensing to their chosen Christmas piece, or never received it, because of competition in their areas, which would happen. So if someone else 9 months ago went to go do A Christmas Story or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or whatever, and they were ahead of you, and they're 5 miles away, 10 kilometers away, the licensing may not come to you because you're in competition. So license your piece as soon as you can. And if you need to check a list for things that are probably available, there's a lot out there, especially by this website that made this list. Their website is mostly about community theaters in the States and what they should do. That doesn't limit you if you're an equity theater or a union theater in your country from doing these pieces. What I like about this list, they're good stories, and you're going to recognize some of my favorite playwrights on this list, clearly. I have there's three favorite playwrights that I think are very funny and very clever and can wrap a really good story around really good characters, and that's what you want. But each item on the list, well, except for one of them is two actors. The rest, including Little Women, is between 6 to 25. Most of these plays are between 8 and 10 to about 20. But there are a few that can be between 8 and 25 characters, depending on how you want to direct it. So, I don't know if a two-person play is going to sell for Christmas. Maybe it's best for you because of economics. That's fine. Make it interesting. Make it fun. Depending on what country you're in. I know that the Americans, in the Americas, all of us, Canada, South America, we tend to like family fun, comedy, musicals, that kind of thing. The UK and New Zealand and Australia, you tend to like pantos, which I think are fantastic. And I wish America did more of those things. And in the UK especially, you're more used to ghost stories at Christmas, which I think is amazing. That's why the Dickens thing appeals to so much and still has the appeal. Spirits coming to haunt someone to change him for the better. That's very England, Scotland, Ireland. I know Ireland's not in the UK. Don't come for me. And there are other countries that really like this. I'm encouraging you not to do the same old thing every year. Oh, it's traditional for everyone in our community to come see our version of A Christmas Carol. It's traditional for everyone in our area to see the Nutcracker the way we do it, exactly the same as last year. I don't think people are spending the money these days, with an economic downturn in a lot of places, to just pay that much money for the same thing. You can argue with me in the comments, but we want things that sell. That's why you should look at this list, read this list that these very smart writers have compiled, and see the value of these pieces they're recommending. Okay? Little Women is my favorite. The musical is my favorite. Of the Little Women pieces that are out there, it really works. It really sells. I was an assistant director on it in Silicon Valley in California and saw how well it sold there. I directed it myself in a studio theater. I think I was the first. And decided to make it a little more funny. And I got 12 very good reviews. This is not boasting. This is me being slightly older of a director and really talking to people, what kind of things do you want to see for Christmas? I had to beg for it, the theater, to program it and really show what it could be. And I brought it down to a chamber musical because I didn't feel that we needed all those musicians. We just had three: piano, cello, and violin. And I thought that was very effective. We did a chamber musical. You could bring the cost down with your own smarts, with your own cleverness for all these things. Again, I'm always pushing you to hire those ensemble members who don't really get a chance to do much in other pieces, maybe these Christmas pieces, and bringing a little more humor into them may be their chance to show off what they can do. Have a look at this list. Tell these writers you love their list, and come back for more. Okay, thanks. Bye.